you will not get your ex back if you don't do no contact correctly. The more things you do right after a breakup, the higher your chances of getting your ex back. The more things you do wrong after a breakup, the lower your chances of getting your ex back. I did a video 5 years ago on the rules of no contact, and I'll put the link in the upper right hand corner on YouTube. However, I thought it's time to redo another one since I have some new rules. I've learned a thing or two since then, and it never hurts to go back over the rules as there's a lot of new subscribers and they may not know all the rules, all my rules for no contact. So stay tuned. Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. I'm a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you get your ex back or to get over your ex. And welcome back, my beautiful no contact army. Thank you to everyone who downloaded my app Silencio to help you stay in no contact and who sent in a review in exchange for a free copy of my book, No Contact Secrets. A couple of the reviews, I have to tell you, they had me almost on the verge of tears, me and my developer. So thank you. It's nice to know that we're really helping a lot of people through their breakup. And if you too would like to join our beautiful no contact army, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell notification and you're in. Okay, so if you've heard me before, you've heard me say that in terms of getting your ex back, you do nothing. You do not lift a finger. And I mean that literally and figuratively. And in fact, that brings me to my first new rule. And that is, if your ex calls you, do not try to send them to voicemail. Let the phone naturally take them to voicemail. And the reason I'm saying this is because one of my clients, who I learn a lot from as they make their mistakes, was on the phone. Her ex called and she wanted to send him to voicemail. And instead, she ended up picking up the phone, which breaks the no contact rule. You're not supposed to respond when your ex calls. And I don't care how many times they call. And people sometimes think, oh, but maybe it's an emergency. Well, why would they be calling you if it's an emergency? They kicked you out of their life. Why do they suddenly need to speak with you? If it's an emergency, they will leave a message. They will text you, but they're not going to just call and call and call and not leave a message. They're just trying to get you to respond because they're feeling anxious at that moment. So do not respond. And unfortunately, she then went on to make another mistake. She stayed on the phone with him for 30 minutes. And another rule of no contact is that when you run into your ex, or if you happen to pick up the phone by mistake, as in this case, or whatever, you do not give your ex a lot of time. And in fact, I have a video on that, and I'll put the link up on YouTube. And she said to me afterwards, well, he didn't want to get back together, but, I didn't really break no contact if he doesn't know that I want to get back together. And I said, girl, the fact that you gave him 30 minutes shows that you're still interested, okay? Actions speak louder than words. If you're not interested in someone, you are not going to be on the phone with them for 30 minutes. It's going to be a very short conversation if you happen to pick up by mistake. Okay? So keep those things in mind. Next, another mistake that someone made. Change your passwords if your ex has them. Someone wrote in and said that she realized her ex has the password, hopefully she changed it, to her YouTube, and she was watching yours truly on YouTube. So he could see that she was trying to get him back. And she said, is there any hope? And at that time I said, well, the enemy knows your game plan. Not really. But then I thought about it and I thought, actually, you know what? The only thing you can do in that case is to pretend that you're changing course. So make it seem like, yeah, I wanted you back, but now you're going to start watching videos on how to get over an ex, how to move on, what to wear on a first date, how to flirt on a first date, right? So it's going to look like you're moving on. But in the meantime, change all your passwords. They should not have access to your passwords anymore. Next, we have no blocking until 60 days. And why 60 days? Because most people, your ex, will contact you between days 45 and 60. Not everyone, but in most cases. So we're giving them 60 days to reach out to you with something significant. And if they don't, but they're watching your stories or commenting on your posts or liking your posts or whatever, they're getting a reward out of it. They're getting a dopamine hit. They get to be a part of your life still without really being in your life anymore. So we want to cut off that dopamine hit. That's why I say to block after 60 days. Now, if you've already blocked them and it's before 60 days, do not unblock them because it shows that you're unsure about your decision, which means that you're still interested. So no blocking and unblocking, blocking and unblocking. If they're already blocked, they stay blocked. If they're not blocked, wait till you get to 60 days and then you can block them. But if you don't want to block them, that's fine too. I know people freak out when I say to block after 60 days. Now, one question that I got after the last video was, and I quote, well, if we block them out of the blue after hypothetically 60 days or more, won't they have an ego validation that they're still affecting us? Wouldn't indifference be a better option? No. Why is ego validation the only option of how they could feel about you blocking them? How about you're dating someone else and you're moving on and you don't want them to see? How about that? It's not necessarily an ego validation. They don't know what you're feeling. You've been silent for 60 days. If anything, it's going to be an ego shock. So don't be afraid to block after 60 days, although I know a lot of you won't. Another new rule, which I made a whole video on, and I'll put the link in the right-hand corner if I can find that video because I don't remember the title, and that is, if someone contacts you and says, oh, your ex is still interested, but they're afraid to reach out, they're afraid you're going to reject them. Too bad. They broke up with you. They need to contact you. And some of you may remember I did the video where the guy, his ex's daughter reached out and said to contact her mother. And I told him to say no. And he initially said no, but then she called back again. She was on the verge of tears. And she said, please, please contact her. And he didn't tell me. He contacted her. She never responded. And then we found out she was actually dating someone else. So what I think happened in that case actually was that the ex was not saying she was afraid of rejection. I think the daughter wanted them to get back together, maybe didn't like the new guy, and that's what happened. So if a friend or a family member or someone says, please contact them, they're scared. No. The answer is no. Next rule, do not agree to be friends. Okay, that's not going to work. You think you're going to sneak your way back in to dating them again or being in a relationship with them. You're not going to be able to handle the friendship. And a lot of times they just say that as something to say, and then they don't even keep up their end of the bargain of being friends. So it's not even worth it. And if you've already agreed to it, just say, hey, I changed my mind. Next, do not wish them a happy birthday. If they contact you and they wish you a happy birthday, that's fine. You can respond, but do not contact them to wish them a happy birthday or anything. Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, whatever. And understand that if you do not wish them a happy birthday, at times, some people, they will unfriend you or maybe even block you. And that's in response to the fact that they expected you to wish them a happy birthday, even though they dumped you. So just be prepared for that. Next, oh, and one more thing about the birthday thing. I know it's a big, well, everyone has a birthday, so it always comes up. If you were close with one or several of their children or one of their family members, yes, you can say happy birthday, but do not talk about the relationship, and obviously don't ask about your ex. And speaking of family and friends, do not talk to them if they have contact with your ex, if they know your ex. Do not tell them that you're doing no contact, obviously. Do not tell them you're upset. Do not tell them that you're sad. No intel goes out to anyone that has access to your ex. Just say, well, yeah, it was unexpected. It was tough at first, but life goes on. I'm moving on. That has to be your attitude. That's what you say. Next, and I've talked about this a million times, of course, don't respond to breadcrumbs. Anything that's not significant where it shows that they're changing their mind, they regret the breakup, and they need to sound humble. If they sound angry, don't respond. I miss you is a breadcrumb, although I do have a video on 40 ways to respond to the I miss you text if you want to respond, and I'll put the link in the upper right hand corner. But it's generally a breadcrumb because they might be missing you today doesn't mean they miss you tomorrow. They're going to miss you tomorrow. So I wouldn't necessarily respond to that. Plus, if they say I miss you and you don't respond, if they really do miss you, then they will text again. Now, no looking at their stories, snaps, WhatsApp status, anything where they can see that you have seen their story. Do not continue a snap streak, okay? I can't believe some people would break up. It's like, well, we have a snap streak. Who cares? The only reason that a snap streak even exists is because Snapchat wants you to go on the app every day, okay? That's the only reason for it. There's no reason to have a snap streak with anyone. Obviously, do not like their posts and mute their stories so that you do not view them accidentally. Now, if you have stuff at their place and you need it, or if you need them to get their stuff out of your place, it's fine to contact them, okay? That isn't breaking no contact because you're not giving them hope that you want them back. You're not showing interest. I mean, if anything, it's the opposite. It's like, hey, I want my stuff. Hey, get your stuff out of here, okay? If you run into them, be polite, but neutral. Don't give them a lot of time. As I said, try to get away from them as soon as possible. And one of the comments someone wrote under the last video was, well, what if you work with them and they walk into your office? Well, then jump out the window. Just kidding. Again, be polite, neutral, try to end the conversation as soon as possible. If they are posting things where it shows that they're angry on social media, do not respond. They're trying to break you to get no contact. They're venting. Ignore, ignore, ignore. If you have children together, you work together, as I mentioned, or if you have school together, you're going to see them again. Brief interactions. If you have children, you only contact them if it regards the children. And that's it. And I've done a video on that. So I will post a link in the upper right-hand corner on YouTube. Now, if you cheated or took them for granted, then it's up to you to get them back. So you should not be in no contact. At first, you're going to try to stop the breakup. Obviously, if you cheated on them and they say it's over, and you say, okay, I'll be like, what? You're like, no, sorry, please, no, it's over. Okay. Then you give them at least 30 days, and then you can start trying to get them back. And you can always contact me for coaching to help you with that situation. Some people have said, well, no contact doesn't work on women. Shut up. Just because it didn't work for you doesn't mean it didn't work for women. Listen, most of my clients are men, and I've helped them get their ex back, okay? When you break no contact, the count starts all over again. So if you have my Silencio app, then you have to reset the timer again back to 0. So that's why you don't want to break no contact. Another question people always ask is, well, what if the ex is also in no contact? Well, if they were the dumper, then they need to reach out to you. So unless, as I just mentioned, you cheated or took them for granted, then it's their job to try to get you back. So I don't care if they're in no contact. That doesn't mean that you reach out just because they're in no contact. Plus, how do you know that they're in no contact? Maybe they're just not interested. So stop looking for ways to break no contact. Okay? So now I want to hear from you. After hearing these rules, I'm sure you have some questions about no contact. So please post them below and I will be happy to answer. And let me know if I missed any rules. I'm sure I did. There's a lot of them. And in the meantime, if you would like my help to get your ex back, you can contact me at theartoflove.net/coaching and we will send you the rates. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to this as a podcast, I would appreciate if you would download the show, the episode. And then finally, remember, love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.